Hey, it's a friend Choice CJ here, and I'm coming to you guys with my team builder for Week 8 of the UBC. We are the coach of the Baltimore Oriolus, and as you can see, we are gearing up for a match versus the Blackmont Raikougars, coached by ZAMCRO. Now, he and I have a kind of brief battling history. He and I both dueled in an audition tournament for the National Pokemon League, and it was a best of 3. And we had to bring the same 6 Mons. Like, we both drafted teams of 7, and then the teams that we built we had to use for all 3 games. And I took game 1, but he took games 2 and 3. And they're all really close. So I know that he's pretty talented. And he's got a really scary team here. He has Victini, Zapdos, Mamoswine, Mega Guard, Shaman, Ditto, Cobalion, Scrafty, Gyarados, Swellow, and Golurk. So it's kind of funny. His team is really similar to mine in a lot of ways. He's got some really powerful wall breakers like Victini and Gardevoir and Mamoswine. You know, that kind of goes well with like my Entei and Nidoking and Tyrantrum and things like that can really wall break. He doesn't have a ton of walls on his team, kind of like mine. Like, you could have a defensive Shaman or something like that. That's kind of like the most, in Zapdos, of course. But, you know, Zapdos is also versatile offensively. Those are, I guess, his 2 biggest defensive threats. Cobalion's also very difficult to deal with defensively. And then he doesn't have, like, a tremendous amount of speed, which is also similar to my team. My fastest Pokemon's Greninja. His is Swellow. Swellow is pretty scary, but I think I should be able to handle it. I think the biggest threat to my team, honestly, is the Gyarados, because it just, I don't have a lot for it. I guess I could bring Poliwrath, but he could easily be packing the Flying EMZ to deal with my Poliwrath. That's not a big deal. I could pack the Thundurus for it, either make it a Scarf set or a Thunderwave set. But, you know, if it's a Thunderwave set, he could be just packing Lumberry, and then it's really no harm, no foul. And, yeah, it's just really going to be tough for me to deal with. I just have to, all of my Pokemon, I can't let any of them set up on the Gyarados. So I don't think I'm going to make any more tweaks to the team. If I do make any more tweaks, it's going to be to make my team a little bit less weak to Gyarados. Let's just go ahead and hop on into the squad and try and plow through this. So I have a Bronzong set here with Stealth Rock, Trick Room, Gyro Ball, and Explosion. So this is going to be leading 9 times out of 10, unless there's some sort of outstanding circumstance where I don't want to lead this. But I want to get rocks up as soon as possible for the Zapdos, for the Victini, for the Gyarados, because he doesn't have great means of hazard removal. He's got Defog on Swellow, and then he also has, what's his other Mon? Let's go back and look. Yeah, that's, and Defog Zapdos. Those are the only 2 Mons that he can use to remove hazards. So it's really nice to get those up as soon as possible. And then Trick Room is kind of a funny choice. It was suggested to me by Greg, and it really turns turns his team on its head. Because, yes, he has a lot of fast threats, and like, his fast threats are just a little bit better than mine, I think. But under Trick Room, I should be able to really do a lot of damage. Then a Gyro Ball is going to be doing a lot of damage to things like Mamoswine and Gardevoir. I think it OHKOs both. I'll have to do some damage calcs. And then Explosion is there in case I need to get Bronzong out in a hurry, and I want to bring in one of my other Pokemon to try and start dealing with his team. It's also there in case he brings in Gyarados. And I should make sure, I had this happen earlier in the season with my Bronzong. I went for Explosion versus Mega Gyarados on the Boston Beedrills, and I couldn't break the sub, so I should make sure that I can still break a sub after a -1 Intimidate drop. But luckily, Mega Gyarados is just it's a little bit more bulky than regular Gyarados, so I probably don't need to invest all that much. But yeah, that's the spread. We're going pretty much max Spadef because I want to be able to live 2 Shadow Balls from Guard, in case we want to go for Stealth Rock and then Trick Room and then either Gyro Ball or Explosion. Culper Berry is going to help me take knockoff from the Mamoswine, so if he wants to lead with either of those Pokemon, we should be able to take it pretty well. The only thing that's going to stink is if he has Taunt or Will-O-Wisp on either of those Pokemon, but because Bronzong threatens each of them with Gyro Ball, there's a good chance that he doesn't go for either of those moves. And if he does, then we just follow it up on the next turn with the Gyro Ball and do lots of damage, and then bring Bronzong in to fight another day. Or I guess bring it out to fight another day. So with that, we're also supporting this team with Nidoking, with Earth Power, Sludge Wave, Thunderbolt, and Sucker Punch. I don't really need, I guess I could make it 0 IVs. I don't think I really need to. It doesn't make a big difference because there's not really anything for him in this speed tier anyway, except for like Gyarados. Maybe I should, I don't want to go minus defense or minus SPDEF, which is why I have gone minus speed. But anyway, this does a lot of damage to pretty much his entire team. Earth Power can OHKO Victini, it can OHKO Cobalion. Thunderbolt can OHKO, Gyarados. Sludge Wave can do good damage to Shaman. I'm pretty sure it can OHKO that. It can do a lot of damage to Zapdos. It can do a lot of damage to Scrafty, so on and so forth. So if Nidoking can come in and poke holes in the team, that's all that I would really want it to do. It's going to be very annoying for him to deal with. But yeah, since I definitely wanted a max special attack nature with this set. And then we put just the leftovers EVs into attack. I guess I could go like 4 and 4 and then just do minus attack nature here. But I want the Sucker Punch in case I need it for a Victini. So I think I'm going to stick with this. There we go. And just try and wreck some face with this thing. My next Pokemon is Tyrantrum. Now this is also going to operate pretty well under Trick Room, but I don't need to use Trick Room for the thing to be effective because I'm packing a Max SPDEF set with Assault Vest, with Head Smash, Super Power Crunch, and Rock Tomb. Because this actually makes a pretty good check to Victini, Zapdos, and Swellow. Oh, and the other reason that I wanted this to be max HP is to take on Zapdos kind of better. So that's nice. But yeah, so with this set, we don't take more than 35% damage from things like Specs Boom Burst, even from Dazzling Gleam, from Life Orb Victini. It doesn't do more than 35%. Zapdos can't do a lot to us with HP Ice, and we can kill all those Pokemon with Head Smash, even with no attack investment. Superpowers for the Cobalion. He's probably going to be Sugar Berry Cobalion if I'm being honest, so I could have packed the Earthquake, but I'm not out of fear of that. And then Superpower also hits Scrafty super effectively. It also hits, what's the other thing? I'm not sure. Mostly those two. And then Golurk walls those two moves, so we are packing Crunch. And then finally we have Rock Tomb as the last move. I didn't really know what else to put in this slot, but in case I didn't want to risk a Head Smash miss, or I wanted the utility of the speed drop, I decided to go with Rock Tomb. If I'm facing down a Gyarados with this Tyrantrum, I'm probably just going to spam Rock Tomb until he decides to kill me, because that way he won't be getting speed boosts and I can still revenge him with my Greninja if need be. So that's pretty nice. Next, we do have that Greninja that I mentioned. Oh, also it is shiny. Okay, good. We have a mixed Greninja with Hydro Pump, Hidden Power Electric, Ice Beam, and Gunk Shot. Life Orb, because his team is not super defensive, Pokemon like Greninja that just have awesome coverage and great speed are really threatening versus him. So Hydro Pump's going to be killing Victini. It's going to be killing, probably even going to be doing a lot to Zapdos. Ice Beam does just a little bit more, which is why I have it. Plus, I also have that for Shaman. I could go for Gunk Shot versus Shaman, but Ice Beam's just nice. Gunk Shot's going to hit the Mega Guard for super effective damage, and it's not very physically bulky, so it's nice to have that. But yeah, this is just going to really clean up his team. If I can poke through with Nidoking and potentially Tyrantrum, if need be, this can be a great late game cleaner. It also depends on if he has Swellow or not, because Swellow is a big threat. I don't think this can really take a hit from Gyarados just because Greninja is so frail. But let me just look at it real quick, and I can tell you. Yeah, it definitely doesn't take a bounce or anything. If that's what he wants to go for. If he wants to go for Earthquake, Earthquake does 89% to us maximum. So yeah, it's probably not going to go that great if we decide to pack use Greninja to come in on the thing. So yeah, that's why I'm saying it's extremely important that I don't let that Gyarados set up, because it could just be a big threat. But yeah, Greninja late game win con, late game cleaner. Next we have a interesting Entei set. It's Rest Sleep Talk Sacred Fire Stone Edge. This is a set that I used in Season 2 of the UBC. It was I guess sort of created by my buddy Verd. It was used back then as a counter for Victini, and so I'm bringing it back again to serve as a counter to Victini. It can also sort of deal with other members of ZAMCRO's team. Sacred Fire can hit the Cobalion for super effective damage. Because it's of this bulk, it can sort of deal with like non-boosting Scrafty sets. If it's like a bulk up or a Dragon Dance set, that might be a different story. This can pressure the Shaman because of my mixed defensive spread. So yeah, it's there for all those different things, mainly just for the Victini though. And if I can use this for Victini, that'll take pressure off of Tyrantrum to take on the Zapdos and the Swellow. But yeah, this is just a really nice set. Victini doesn't have a way to hit it super effectively unless he's packing Hidden Power Ground or something. But honestly, Hidden Power Ground does less than something like Psychic anyway. So this is going to go pretty well. And then last but not least, I have a Keyberry Mew with Calm Mind Roost, Shadow Ball, and Aura Sphere. We put enough speed on this thing to outspeed... What hit on the team hits 261? I know 262 is what base 70s hit. I think it's a Adamant Gyarados. If we look, yeah, so it outspeeds an Adamant Gyarados, which he'll probably run if he chooses to use Gyarados. Put the rest into HP and defense. This is also a nice switch in for Scrafty and Cobalion. And I wouldn't quite call it a switch into Mamoswine, but if he goes for an EQ versus us, our Keyberry is going to pop, and then we should be able to roost up versus that. And because we've consumed our item, a potential knockoff from Mamoswine is going to be doing a bit less. So that's pretty cheeky. Calm Mind, Shadow Ball, Aura Sphere. Shadow Ball does very good neutral damage versus his team. The only thing that resists the Shadow Ball are the Swellow and the Scrafty, so we're packing Aura Sphere for that. Aura Sphere also hits Cobalion super effectively, which is quite nice. So I might have to burn the Keyberry early, I guess it depends. If I can keep this Mew in the back, he definitely has the potential to win. In my opinion, like Golurk and Scrafty are not the best Ghost and Dark types. And those are the only two Pokemon that he has on his team that can hit Mew with stab super effective damage. So there's a chance that he doesn't, there's a good chance he doesn't bring both of them. There's even a chance that he doesn't bring either one of them. And if that's the case, this Mew is going to be doing great work because he just isn't going to have a way to revenge it, especially if I can get that +1 Keyberry boost. And then I start boosting my Spadef with Calm Mind. It's going to be very hard for him to deal with me. So yeah, that is the team, as you can see. And again, I think the Pokemon I'm most afraid of is the Gyarados. Another thing that I am a little afraid of is like a Rock Polish Golurk. I don't have a way to deal with that really. So let's hope that does not come. And the other thing I was going to say about the Mew, and I'll just go back to this real quick, is that because we're Calm Mind boosting and like what do you call it? The Ditto shouldn't be able to beat this set. Like, you're always weary of bringing lots of setup versus Ditto. But I shouldn't be able to lose to myself if he copies my Mew, because he's just going to lock himself into Shadow Ball, and then I can like roost up and go for more Calm Minds. I'm going to have a lot more HP than the Ditto has because I have base 100 HP, and the Ditto doesn't have very much. And kind of on that note too, like because because Ditto almost always runs with a Choice Scarf, that's another reason that the Bronzong with Trick Room is kind of nice, because like he can't come in and like copy my Nidoking or my Tyrantrum and then try and outspeed me, because we'll obviously be under Trick Room. So that's gonna be pretty nice if that works out. Yeah, that was the only other thing. Rock Polish Cobalion might be scary, but I have better ways to deal with Cobalion. So yeah, that's gonna do it. Make sure you guys watch the battle. We'll be going up tomorrow. It's gonna be really close. We're gonna be playing in about a couple of hours, like 2 hours from the time that I'm recording this video. So wish me luck. We are 5-2 in the league. Zam is also 5-2. So whoever wins this match goes into like the top 3 of the league in terms of record, and so that's pretty important. And the playoff race is really tight because there's only 6 teams that make it out of 16. So we're going to have to see how it goes. I'm not going to be like too devastated if we lose this match because his team is very good and because we're still going to be in an okay position for the rest of the season. And we still have some winnable games coming up. Like, you know, every game is tough, but I think the first half of our schedule is a little tougher than the second half of our schedule because we already played like Greg and Professor Chip and things like that. But I digress. You know, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, you know, amongst the people who I still have to play. But yeah, that'll do it for me. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you check out the channel for more gaming and Pokemon content. And until the next time, I will see you guys later.